Coming up on Tekzilla, it's a festival of your viewer questions. Proxy servers, you asked. We're going to show you how to access any website in the world from any country in the world. The best video question ever, how to get a Zune working with a 99 Pontiac Sunfire and other cars, and some help with 3G modems and quite a bit more. So, fig up your pudding and slice yourself a piece of panettone, because Tekzilla starts now. This episode of Tekzilla is made possible by the National Fight Against Drunk Driving. Over the limit, you're under arrest. Who wants to spend the holidays in jail? Go to Assist Express and the new voice-activated Sync featuring hands-free calling, music search, and turn-by-turn navigation. I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Welcome to Tekzilla, hands-on reviews of the latest tech and how to make the most out of the gear that you've already got.
Whether you're a beginner or tech support for your friends and family, if you've got a question about tech or the best place for French toast in San Francisco, we've got an answer for you.
And if we don't, we'll eat French toast until we have an answer.
So we have some viewer questions today.
Oh my
Lots
goodness.
of viewer questions. We're packing them full in one episode.
Well,
Multiple episodes. I just mean today, especially, we have lots of viewer questions.
we've done a lot of products. We're going to step back, get back to the viewer questions. Should we just start out with Thomas?
I think so. It's probably one of my personal favorites.
Let's just roll the video.
Hey there, Tekzilla crew. This is my car. This is my brand new Zune HD. I love it. They don't really work together all that well. Neither does my phone. And I know I can get an FM transmitter, but that just does terrible things to the audio. So here's my question. I'm already looking for a new radio to connect to my phone using Bluetooth so that I'm not holding it up to my ear all the time. Because quite frankly, a wired headset, not that elegant a solution. My question is, are there any solutions that will let me hook up my Zune HD using a USB port to the head unit so that I can control playback using the buttons on the radio? Thanks, guys. I love the show. Keep it up. I'm going to drive into this hedge here.
So, Thomas, the man with the Pontiac Sunfire 1999 style, wants a solution. Emphasis on solution for his Zune and getting his favorite music and doing all his stuff in his Pontiac Sunfire.
Oh my goodness.
Which is awesome, by the way. That video was amazing.
Golf clap.
I mean, I feel bad because we always say keep it to 15 seconds, and we don't usually encourage people to go that long, but that was pretty spectacular.
The effort was put in. I think the entertainment factor is there, and you had the 1999 Pontiac Sunfire. We could not resist answering this one.
Yeah, well, we have to say there's one good thing is that it's not an iPod, Thomas. The number of choices there is just dizzying. You've got something like 46 head units that can control the iPod.
Or an iPhone. It's unhinged.
Or an iPhone.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who's been trying to pick one of those 46 options, I got to point people out. Crutchfield's iCar Stereo. It's an interactive guide. You basically say like which model of iPhone or iPod you have, and like what car you have, and if you have the factory. It's slick. It's a really nice way to actually sort out the 42,000 options for getting your iPods or iPhone signal. iPhone.
That probably exists somewhere.
IR so elite hacker.
The iPhone.
Oh my goodness. Anyhow, it doesn't take the pain out of like having to spend another 120 bucks to get the Bluetooth adapter to get Bluetooth phone control over the head unit you want, Alpine ID8 X305. I'm looking at you. So if you can't find a head unit that actually has Bluetooth features built in, if you want to get past, you mentioned the whole wired phone lifestyle.
Exactly. Well, back to HD Zune solutions, or Zune HD rather. You've got two basic options for your mighty Pontiac Sunfire if you want the head unit to control the Zune and not just plug into the Zune with an aux jack.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty easy. You can do that with
everything.
Everything.
If it has an aux jack, you basically mount your, if you know, because you said you wanted to use the head unit. It's the hard part is getting a head unit that'll control the Zune, right? Everybody's like, man, what do you guys always talk about, like freaking iPod stuff? Because iPod owns like 85% of the market, which means like 8.5 out of every 10 of you own an iPod of some type.
Right.
Which is kind of funny. You can't actually tell from Kenwood's website, but the manual for the KOS A300 car portal, it's basically an adapter, has info on how it can control the Zune. They just don't mention it on the website at all.
Oh, that's so sad. Like there's Zune HD users out there, right?
Yeah, there
guys?
are. What's also kind of sad is it looks like most of its music searching features are iPod only, which would be a little annoying. But literally, this is the only head unit I've seen, or I should say adapter that goes with a head unit that mentions anything about the Zune at all.
Yeah. And what's that going to run you?
$200. It's an adapter you buy for $200 in addition to buying a Kenwood car stereo to attach it to.
Ouch. Well, somewhat more affordable and designed to work with factory and aftermarket car stereos is Soundgate's core lineup of Zune adapters. They cost around $80, and they have kits for everything from Acuras to Volvos. So you should find something for your Pontiac Sunfire in there, or at least be able to work it out.
They do have one that lists that it should work with like pretty much all GM vehicles in that particular range.
Yeah, but as near as I can tell, without Soundgate's REM-Core remote, for most head units, the Soundgate Zune integration is pretty much a Zune plug that charges your Zune and splits out the aux audio and video.
So again, you're going to want to have like a mount where you can actually put the Zune monitor somewhere you can see it. So if you want a bomb-proof car mount for your Zune and you don't want your Zune bouncing back and forth and you take advantage of the Sunfire's awesome acceleration and braking, you laugh. Like I've seen people put their iPhone on their dashboard.
No, it just shoots like back into the back seat. Or it goes under the front seat and then the passenger has to like start digging around for the lost device. Or if you're the driver and there's no one with you, it's like, well, you got to pull over.
Please
actually pull over and not just try to do it while you're driving.
I have seen a head on I-5 heading south to LA. I have seen someone holding onto their steering wheel disappear under the dashboard, and you know they're looking for their phone. It's just
jerks.
terrifying.
A danger to themselves and others.
Yeah, but if you do want a good mount, ProClipUSA.com's website, they have adapters for just about every brand of media player or phone out there. They've basically figured out where you can put a vehicle mount in your car, and they customize them for a zillion different cars. They design a custom mount, and they sell the device holders separate from the mounts. You might not be happy where that mount actually goes. In some cases, they actually clip it into like an AC vent, or it screws like behind the dash.
I've seen that.
But it's pretty slick. But basically, you get the mount for the car, and then you buy a separate device holder. They aren't cheap, but they're extremely well built, and they even have one that'll fit your Sunfire, or my wife's Volvo, or my Suburban, or a brand new SL Class Mercedes. They have a ridiculous array of adapters.
I don't have a car.
Well, you don't. Actually, you really could use a car given where you commute to.
That's true.
They have them for smart cars if you decide to put yourself in one of those.
That death trap?
That's the spirit. I want to see you in a big honking car with 72-way airbags.
I'll stick with Bart, thanks. Yeah, but if you buy a new phone, GPS, whatever you need mounted in the car, you can just pick up a new holder and screw it into your mount. So, yours in Sonic Screw the FM Adapters Bliss, Patrick and Veronica.
Still to come is the type of sensor important when shopping for a digital camera. Find out after the break, but while we've got your attention, let's thank one of our sponsors, the National Fight Against Drunk Driving. Far too many people do not understand that alcohol, drugs, and driving do not mix. The message is simple, people. Drinking and driving, if you're over the limit, you are under arrest. Do not put yourself or others in danger. Law enforcement officials will be out in force all over the country from December 17th through the new year, cracking down on drunk drivers. Beyond putting your life at risk, you could cost yourself a bundle of time and money. Jail time, the loss of your driver's license, higher insurance rates, expenses like attorney fees, more fines, court costs, car towing and repairs, lost time at work, and quite a bit more. Look, people, this is so avoidable. It can be avoided so easily. You can go out and have fun. Just plan ahead. If you're going to drink, designate a driver, or call a taxi, or use mass transit, or find yourself a sober ride program. There is no excuse for driving drunk. Don't do it. Welcome to this week's Freebie Download Pick, a free program that we find useful, fun, or incredibly interesting. This week, EarthInView. While it's been around for years, EarthInView is probably the best image viewer app you can find. While its appearance might lack the style and sophisticated UI of paid image viewers, EarthInView supports a ton of image formats: JPEGs, TIFFs, PNG, HDRs, BMPs. It can do batch resizes, crop functions, simple editing, EXIF support, and plugin support. It is incredibly useful. You can access all the functions either through the menu or hotkeys that make tweaking, rotating, and resizing an image a snap. So if you're in need of an image viewer that can support almost any image format known to the modern computing world, and you want to go through tons of images fast and easy, you should check out EarthInView.
Sean emailed in a very common question. He writes, I'm looking at getting a new DSLR. I've done a lot of research, but don't have a clean-cut answer on whether or not CMOS sensors are better or just as good as CCD. One of my uses will include photographing my wife's dance performances, which are generally in low-light settings. Have CMOS sensors caught up to CCDs? I'm trying to decide between the Sony A380 and the A500. Sean in South Carolina. CCDs, or charge-coupled devices, traditionally offered the best image quality, while CMOS, aka aka complementary metal oxide semiconductor, were found only in cheap cameras. I like saying that. Complementary metal oxide semiconductor.
It's a fun word to say.
It is fun to say.
Phrase, I guess.
Canon and Kodak led the way in bringing CMOS tech to high-quality DSLRs. Chances are you won't notice a difference between the two types of sensors. By the way, both the Sony cameras you listed are CMOS equipped. The truth of the matter is you can't judge a camera's image quality on one simple parameter. There's all sorts of things which we talk about
People are
all
so
the
obsessed
time.
with megapixels. Hey, I got rid of my 10 megapixel camera. I got a 12 megapixel camera. Great.
Are you blowing them up to poster size?
And the truth
Are
is,
you making giant billboard-size images?
there's almost no difference between
Not
10
billboard.
megapixel and 12 megapixel. When you go from like 10 megapixel to 40 megapixel, then you're talking about big changes. And look,
Exactly.
sensor types, I mean, digital cameras are complex devices. Everything from the glass that grabs the light to the sensor that captures it at the back end to the processing between that and the memory. Basically, and by the way, you want to take a great camera and screw it up, compress the images a lot. All of these things contribute to picture quality or lack thereof. A more reliable way to judge a digital camera is to test one thoroughly or look up camera reviews from a reputable reviewer. We're huge fans of CNET's Lori Gruden, as well as sites like CameraLabs.com and DCResource.com. They all run cameras through a battery of tests, including image performance, ergonometrics, and the feature set, or ergonomics, I guess.
Yeah,
Ergonometrics would be like measuring ergonomics.
Yeah, and if you're asking us, unless you're getting a mad deal on the Sony in your price range, we'd go with the Canon EOS Rebel T1i or the Nikon D5000, which you saw in the episode last week, actually. Better lenses, and you get high quality video, which the Sony lacks. If you do have a mad deal on the Sony, go with the A500. Yes. Well, coming up next, how to watch Hulu from a non-US location. But first, it's time now to thank one of our sponsors, the new voice-activated Sync. It offers hands-free voice command of your mobile phones and media players, so when you're in your car, you can focus on where you're going, and it's available exclusively on Ford, Lincoln, and Mercury vehicles. Sync listens to your voice and lets you make calls on your cell phone, search and listen to music and podcasts on your MP3 player, get turn-by-turn directions and real-time traffic and weather, all while keeping your eyes on the road. Even more, Sync includes 911 Assist, which automatically calls 911 if you're in an accident and your airbag deploys. The Vehicle Health Report sends an online status report of your vehicle's diagnostics, and 411 Business Search gives you 14 million U.S. business listings, and then provides turn-by-turn directions to any of them. To learn more about Sync, go to syncmyridepodcast.com. Looks like it's time for another website we just can't get enough of. A website that we just can't stay away from because it's too useful, too funny, or just too darn irresistible. This week's pick, Giveaway of the Day. I know our free stuff episode was a couple of weeks ago, but when Thomas sent in Giveaway a Day as his favorite website, how could we pass that up? Giveaway a Day does just as the name implies. Every day, they offer up a totally free download of a piece of software. This isn't just a demo or trial version either, it's the full license. The site works with the software publishers and developers to get the name out about their products. Sometimes the products are just up for one day, but sometimes they will be on for even longer. The software runs the gamut from photo editing, kids software, games, and video converters, and most of the software seems to be for Windows machines. They also have a pretty extensive database of software that you can search through, and you can even see related products for the one you were looking for. And they promise to never have adware on the site, so you can download with relative ease of mind. In short, it's basically Woot for software, except totally free. Check it out at giveawayaday.com. If there's one question we get all the time that every non-US watcher of the show asks, how can we get Hulu outside of the USA? Here to help answer that question, our very own producer, Mr. Roger Chang.
Yes.
Wearing the oft-requested WTF shirt.
What the frack? In fact, that actually is a very good jumping off point because there's a lot of sites, not only in the US, but outside of the US, where it's difficult for non-residents to access the content.
People have been asking a lot lately, actually, to try to get Spotify here in the US because it's only available over in Europe for the most part.
But there are also sites like Facebook and MySpace, which are blocked off in certain countries around the world. And people want to be able to connect with their friends and not have to jump through 15 hurdles to do it. Now, for Hulu's specific case, it's because of copyright. And what they do is what a lot of sites do is that they base the location of the person who's trying to access it on their IP. Mm-hmm. They see an IP from your machine. They say, well, that guy's in the US. We won't let him access our site. Or that person's from Europe. We won't let him access Hulu. Or this person's in South America, blah, 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 blah.
So it would make sense that in order to view that content, you would therefore want to change your IP address to reflect a different location, perhaps.
Ah, you are very, very smart.
Is that, I just have to ask, is that illegal?
No.
Not for copyright stuff?
It's spoofing.
Okay.
And there's several ways to do it. The most popular way is a proxy server. And a proxy server in this essentially acts as a middleman between you and the website server or the web site you're trying to access. So instead of you sending information directly to that site, you send it to the proxy server first. It takes that, adds its own IP on top of the information, or the request, and sends it off to the server. And then the server sends the information back to the proxy server and back from the proxy server back to you.
Now, what about using a VPN with a machine that's already in the US?
VPN is another very good way. For most people who, especially business people who travel a lot outside of the country, they can tunnel in through VPN into their corporate networks, and then they can access all the stuff on their corporate site. But the offside benefit is that they have a US IP. And I've known a few people, especially people who travel a lot, who set one up at home and they leave it running, and then when they leave the country, they can access it from like Europe, South America, Asia.
So it seems like it would be a lot easier to just set up a proxy.
Yes, it's much easier. And of course, with proxy servers, you also have several options. Tor is the one that most people know. It's the Onion router. It's specifically designed to hide your information, to make you anonymous when you surf online. So it's really good if you want to be anonymous, but it's really slow if you want to get video. I've tried it, it's really slow.
But what about web proxies? Those should be pretty easy, right?
Web proxies are another really great tool. And they're actually great if you want to access your Facebook or a MySpace account. Flip side is because you're interfacing through a website, things like video and basically video won't work.
So it wouldn't work for Hulu or YouTube?
I tried it with Hulu, and basically you have to install Java and tell those guys that the web to run the web proxy decide to put Java in. Now there's some that might actually have video enabled on their sites, but of the 20 or so that have come across, not one of them has supported Hulu, any of the streaming Flash, even on our site wouldn't play. So it's a great way to get access, a regular website, but maybe not video. Now the final way to do it is through an open proxy or an HTTP proxy. HTTP proxy is essentially a proxy server which is designed solely to take your HTTP content or web content and shuffle it around for you.
So if you're outside of the US, how would you get a proxy set up for yourself?
So, a great way to start off is you can either have a friend set one up at home, or you can go and basically search for a free proxy list website. Now there are services online that do it for you, and the benefit to doing that is oftentimes the connection's faster and you're a little more secure because you're at the mercy of whoever sets up the proxy, and if they're basically just packet sniffing the entire time, it's probably something you do not want to do your banking account through. You do not want to do your email through, but if you're just wanting to watch videos, what's the harm?
All right, well, that's a good safety tip to know then.
So, what you want to do is essentially pull up a list site that can give you a bunch of proxies. I pulled up proxylist.org, and essentially it gives you a listing of available proxy servers that you can use from places around the globe. Now, say we want to access something that we can't get here in the United States, and that's, say, some French cartoons on Dailymotion, because we are not allowed access. In fact, I tried to access it earlier. As you can see here, content not available. We are sorry, this content is not available for your country. So I will change that, and since I know this is French because it's a French cartoon, because it's in French, I will select France.
Are you sure it's not from Montreal?
Yes.
Okay.
I will select France, and then I will just click Filter Proxy. And then when I go to it, after I do the CAPTCHA, it will give me a couple of working proxies that I can use. And from there, it's pretty simple. I just click Tools, and this is in Firefox. Whatever web browser you use will be similar, but not exactly the same. Click Network, and this is how the browser connects online. I'll click Settings, and I already enabled one of these, and typically it will be set to no proxy. I select Manual Proxy, I'll put the IP address here, and then I'll put the port number here. And then I click OK. Now if there's anything else, SSL, FTP, Gopher, SOCKS, which probably none of those you ever really need to use this way. Click OK, and then to double check that I actually have it working, I always go to Google, because Google is really smart about these things. As you can see here now, I'm in Google France, and not in Google America or Google English, which is great. Now, French. Let's cut and paste this cartoon that I had here and see if it works here. Will it work? Will it work? It thinks I'm French, so it must. Come on. Yeah. Oh, it plays.
Well, that was pretty easy.
Yeah, and you know what? The motions are pretty much similar for any web browser, no matter what OS you use. Again, do be careful, because if you use a free open proxy, you do not know who runs the other end. So do not do anything that requires a password, or a password you care about, or any kind of personal or financial information. It's just really bad form. But if you just want to watch videos or some foreign YouTube service that you can only get in that country, try it. And if it works, it's awesome. I mean, it's amazing, because there's so much great content out there that unfortunately is limited due to DRM and copyright infringements and conflicts of interest and stuff like that.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for showing us that.
Sure.
I'm going to have to check out this French cartoon you've got over here at some point, although I speak absolutely no French. Well, coming up next, we've got more viewer questions, but first, it's time now to thank one of our sponsors, GoToAssist Express. Looking for a way to support more clients by spending less money? Support smarter with GoToAssist Express, and you will instantly be able to connect to a customer's computer so you can fix technical issues right on the spot. Service more clients more efficiently and more affordably. Whether you're in customer support, technical consulting, or management, or just a computer guru, GoToAssist Express will help you increase revenue, reduce travel and support time, and service more clients. Try GoToAssist Express free for 30 days. For this special offer, just visit gotoassist.com/Tekzilla. That's gotoassist.com/Tekzilla for a free trial. Support us by supporting our sponsors.
Firing up some more viewer questions. Ahmed writes in, hey guys, have you ever come across a Mac or PC app other than iTunes that streams music to an Airport Express? I really want to use AirTunes to listen to tons of stuff, not just my iTunes library. For example, while watching YouTube, I could listen to the audio on Airport connected speakers around the house. And it would be awesome if the app would be free. Ahmed in the London, UK.
In the London. Well, sure.
In the London.
Yeah, there are actually a few that we know of. So for anyone who doesn't already know, AirTunes allows you to play your iTunes music over an Airport Express device to speakers that you connect around the house, kind of like a Sonos.
It's a mystical basically it's
you just plug an audio
networking
cable
on.
from the Airport Express to the nearest speaker system with it plugged in the wall, and it works fine. Airfoil from Rogue Amoeba is one of the best apps for Mac or Windows or Linux even. Ever, that will let you stream almost any audio from your machine to your Airport Express. They even have the included Airfoil video player, so you can get local video and remote audio in sync. Nice. And like I said, it works on Linux. It'll put you back $25 or so, but it has so many features that I think it's totally worth the money for all the stuff that you get in this one app.
It is a delight. First of all, Rogue Amoeba writes great software. Second of all, that is a particularly useful application. Third of all, iTunes copied Rogue Amoeba's Airfoil application to basically to give you the ability, like you used to have to download one of Rogue Amoeba's applications if you wanted to stream, like select which Airport Express around the house you wanted to stream to instead of just streaming to one. So, was there one for like micro AEP? What was that program called?
It's called OAEP. It's for Windows only, but it'll play any audio from Winamp, Media Player, whatever other software you use. It's a little more try at your own risk. I haven't used this one myself. I haven't tested it yet. Yeah. But it's free, so that's good. Donation based. You can give donations if you want to. But judging from some of the forum postings I read, it's worked. So that's a good sign.
And in some cases, it hasn't.
I didn't see any that haven't, but I need to do a little more research on that one. So if you want to read up on it a little bit more before you give it a shot, definitely recommend to. There's also a plugin that we found that you can get for Winamp. It's called the Remote Speakers Output plugin, and it's for $10 or $25 depending on which license you buy, and that gets you updated versions further down the line. So you've got some options out there, but I would definitely recommend Airfoil.
Yeah, we've both used it quite a bit and recommend it.
And Rogue Amoeba in general makes awesome software. I use Audio Hijack Pro. I've used Nicecast in the past. Go check out their website. They've got a ton of great apps for Mac and Windows too.
And a lot of free stuff you can download too. Ryan's looking for wireless access while he's traveling in the U.S. for a month. He writes in, what do you think
What do you two think is the cheapest way for a Canadian to maintain 3G internet access on their netbook while in the United States for about a month? Ryan in Stouffville, Ontario, Canada. Until recently, I'd say rent a 3G modem from a company like Rover. Basically, you pick your dates, you prepay, they FedEx it to you, you use it, and then you FedEx it back to them when you're done. But for a month, you're looking at about 180, 220 bucks for the rental, depending on which type of modem you get from them. I gotta say, it's looking really tempting for you to pony up the cash for a pay-as-you-go 3G modem from Virgin's broadband to use when you get here. Verizon's offering, well, they kind of came into the whole, because this is all a new concept, the idea that you're gonna, a pay-as-you-go wireless modem, right? Pay-as-you-go phones have been around forever, but the wireless modems, Virgin was kind of the pioneer. Verizon jumped in recently. They're kind of expensive. For Verizon, you're looking at 15 bucks for 1 day's use with a 75 megabyte cap. 50 bucks for 500 megabytes and 1 month of service. Now Virgin charges 10 bucks for 100 megabytes over 10 days, 20 bucks for 250 megabytes over a month, 40 bucks for 600 megabytes over a month, and 60 bucks for a gigabyte over a month. They use Sprint's data network, which in my experience has been excellent. Coverage shouldn't be a problem wherever you go, but you will have to buy one of their modems. That's going to cost you 100 bucks. So, you know, if you're just checking email, you get one of the tiny data bands, spend 120 bucks, and maybe Craigslist and sell the modem when you're done.
Yeah, why not? At least recoup some of those costs.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally I'd say rent a modem from Rover or a similar 3G rental company, but man, the pay-as-you-go modems are starting to get really cheap and really easy to use. I'm also assuming that a Canadian credit card number will work with the Virgin pay-as-you-go phones. I can't imagine that Virgin wouldn't let you do that, but
just bring cold hard cash to the store.
Cold hard cash.
Yes.
Cash. She's all about
People
the
still
cash.
take that, right?
Cash to the store.
Our final question comes from Ryan, who's feeling the MacBook pain. He writes, Patrick, I heard you mention that your plastic MacBook is cracking on the last show. Mine is too, and it's driving me nuts. Is this a common issue, and is Apple doing anything about it? Are your cracks similar to mine? Sorry for the laundry list of questions. Love the show. Thanks, Bill.
Okay, so here's
Is your
Bill's.
crack the same as mine? I think all our cracks are created equal. I mean,
Moving on.
MacBook. So you have
the cracks you were seeing were not mine; they were actually Bill's cracks. The cracking around the edge of the Apple, actually, the one he had where it's around the Apple and the lid. I've never seen that. I only think that would happen if you kept banging the top of the lid. So you know,
Or sitting on it.
Or sitting on it. So I'm pleased that your screen isn't broken. The cracking on the upper case and the palm rest area where it meets the lower case, right around here and here, is pathetically common. Basically, the plastic they expect for this is fairly thin over time, and not. I can see people like, oh, you're a gorilla, Norton. People with dainty and tiny wrists and little itty bitty fingers have had the same thing happen, where over time the upper half of the case here basically presses against the edge of the lower case, and you end up with this nice, beautifully cut, ragged edge that exposes the inside of your MacBook.
Not good.
And of course, I have the impossible to avoid dirty MacBook stains. I want to thank Steve for a brilliant color choice for the MacBook. Not that I'm bitter. Apple, they're not doing anything about it. You wore it out. Congratulations, thanks. If you're feeling DIY, you can pick up a fresh uppercase keyboard combo from myfixit.com. I'm just living with it for now. I really recommend, though, at the very least, you know, tape over this, run some silicone over this and seal it, because if you like to drink delicious beverages while using your MacBook, these are beautiful gateways directly to your motherboard.
Plus, it'll make it look super punk rock.
Oh, that's true.
Super punk rock. See? Case in point.
For all of you watching, we live in your questions. So email us, tekzilla@revision3.com. Tech help, product reviews, how-tos. You ask us, we'll do it, but we need those emails, so don't be shy. Send them into tekzilla@revision3.com.
Even better, send us in a video question. Think of all the fun you can have and the admiration of all your friends and family when they see your mug on our show. Just try to keep it to 15 seconds unless it's super
Really
awesome
entertaining.
and well edited and put together. Not that we're biased or anything, like the Pontiac Sunfire, which was rad. Upload it to YouTube and send us a link in an email with video question in the subject line. And as always, you can visit our forums at revision3.com/forum. Share your thoughts, ideas, or comments with other fans of the show. Thank you guys so much for watching.
I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Till next week, you've been watching Tekzilla. Jazz hands?
See you soon.
get a Zune working with a 1999. How to get a Zune working with a 1999 Pontiac Sunfire. CMOS versus CCD. How can you? Plus, we got help for people who need some help with your proxy servers, people. It's how you can watch. It's a festival of your questions in 3. And we've got someone who's going to travel but doesn't want to.
What? Smoothie?
My teeth look
Got
white.
smoothie?
I want a smoothie.
Rolling tape, Veronica, in 3, 2. Wow. Dainty.
I'm a puker.
Hold on. Veronica's putting her iPhone in airplane mode.
Okay, it's good. No. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Do it again. Yeah. Yeah. D-block. Yeah. Yeah.
We still have to.